Have you ever bought a fragrance online and said, this is not as fresh as everyone was saying? Well, that depends on what your definition of freshness is. So before we start, I have to ask you, define fresh for me. It's pretty tough to choose a tangible word for fresh, isn't it? Now, if you would have said fresh fruit, half marks, you use the word in the definition. If you would have said ripe fruit, you got it. Personally, I think all of these are fresh. But if you would have picked something up like Afnan Collector's Edition, because the review said it was fruity, fresh, pineapple, great for all seasons, long-lasting and beast, which it is in all of those cases, but you got home and used it and thought it was way too sweet to wear for summer, then you would fall into the camp that considers fresh more on the, not extreme, but truer definition expression. Fresh is subjective to everyone, especially when we're talking about something like fruity fresh. They come with that sweetness, and some people are conditioned to sweet for summer equals bad. Personally, I think with fruity fresh, the hotter it is, the more they will project, and they'll actually seem more refreshing. But I consider them refreshing more than the old school fresh. Because in my mind, fresh is uplifting, vibrant, bright. It really is like a breath of cool air that picks you up and wakes you up. This is something I could smell and probably fall asleep to. And there's scientific reasoning for that. So with all of these fruit fresh fragrances, it's never real fruit fragrance oils. Fruits are really hard to macerate. So it's all synthetic. What they do aim to do is emulate the smell of ripened fruit. And if you know anything about fruits or the plants that make them, you know that it's a survival instinct of why they create that ripened aroma. So when they create the plants, once it's ripened, it will produce an aroma to attract animals and people to come eat it and then spit out the seeds, literally spreading their seeds around the world, ensuring the survival of the plant species. What these do is do the same thing. It's a very sweet, mouth-watering aroma. In fact, I'm having a hard time talking because I'm swallowing way too much because I accidentally sprayed this one earlier. This one reminds me of pineapple on the grill. It's just sweet and overflowing with juices, which a lot of these can produce. In my opinion, it's still more refreshing, but I still put it as a 1-star freshness. If it helps you, just picture ancient Greeks where they would sit there getting fanned by their slaves while the other slave pops grapes in their mouths. It's refreshing, it's soothing, it's calming, it's relaxing, but not uplifting fresh. With that, we kind of move on to the next category, which is citrus. Yes, weird. I know citrus should be higher, but citrus is kind of a hit or miss. Lemon, sour, tart, much more of a 4-star freshness. But mandarin, it's very sweet, not very citrusy, not very tart, more of a 1-star fruity freshness. Grapefruit would be in between, more bitter, but again, not bright and vibrant. Then we have green florals. Now, green florals are kind of split into two as well. We have your classic fougères, which are woody and fresh from that perspective. It's spicy, or a fresh spicy to your nose. Whereas you have something like tea, which is still a green floral, or the tea leaves, I guess, which is very relaxing and soothing. So this would be like the next one and the one after that. Where mint, same thing, fresh, spicy. And then if you've watched my videos, you already know how I feel about salt, but I think salt is the ones that don't really work in the winter, even though it sometimes reminds me of, ammonia on a fresh sheet of ice in the arena, but it's just not something I want to smell like during the winter. Same with marines, they kind of give off that scent too. And lastly, if you want a true definition of fresh, like getting sprayed with Febreze, which is literally air freshener, then aldehydes are what we're talking about. Now, if you still don't understand why this is like a 1-star freshness, you have to expand your fresh game. Aldehydes give you that blast of freshness that can't be compared to any of these. It's quite literally the definition of fresh: bright, uplifting, vibrant, invigorating, clean. That's it. Now, aldehydes in general are available in everything. It's when we talk about an aldehyde note, it's specific to that exact fresh feeling. All right, so why is this important? Well, if you are blind buying or if you're new to fragrances and you're searching up Freshies, one inevitable thing is going to happen is people are going to recommend these as Freshies because it's got fruit fresh in it. And that's normal because it's part of the fragrance wheel, right? And as I explained, that's how it comes to refreshing and considered fresh. So just keep that in mind. If you're someone who's a little bit pickier about their Freshies, then make sure you check Fragrantica's notes. But if you're searching something up like longest lasting Freshies, a majority of them will be the fruit fresh because their molecules are larger and heavier, so they last the longest. But yeah, hopefully I was able to help you with your blind buy game. Now, the other reason why I was doing this is because I want to introduce my 10 cheap Freshies that lasted so long, I had to start a new list. Number 10, Lattafa's Art of Universe. Fruity, fresh, sweet, and airy. Reminds me of Del Monte fruit cups. Safe and easy. Mass appealing. Very safe blind buy. Number 9, French Avenue's Arche Extrait. Citrusy, nutty, and smooth. Reminds me of a lemon milkshake made with almond milk. It's not as creamy, but smooth. Very elegant, great for someone who's gonna wear all white, just classy, easy to like. Now, when you first get it, it is very citrusy and almond heavy. It might drive you a little nuts.
That's a lot of nuts!
But after you let it mature for a bit, it's a safe blind buy. Number 8, Razazi Fatan. Dirty orange, sweet and spicy and earthy. Reminds me of pine trees, cypress and ferns. A real man's man scent. Just manly man of the woods. It's a safe blind buy if you can get over the opening. I like the opening. Some people do, some people don't, but the dry down is magnificent. Number 7, Afnan's Glutarathi, or alternatively, you can get Afnan's Rubroca Terome. Both are fine, as whatever one's cheaper, get that one. But if they're the same, get Glutarathi, it lasts a bit longer. Citrusy, woody, and musky. Opening reminds me of like Imagination. The scent profile reminds me of Nestea. So citrusy sweet with a smoothness and airy lightness to it. Mass appealing, safe fragrance, easy reach, very easy to wear. Blind buy safe, both of them. This bottle sucks though. It's top heavy and it falls over all the time. But they smell exactly the same house. Number 6, again, you don't need both, either or. We have Afnan's Supremacy in Heaven and Armaf's Club de Nuit Sillage. And I'm not trying to be pretentious, Fragrance Dad, that's what this one's called. If they're the same price, get Sillage. It lasts longer and it smells a bit better. Fruity, fresh, berry, a hint of tea and musk. Smells like boiled Gatorade. The fruity freshness comes first. The tea is in the back seat, way in the back, behind the musk. It's a great mix up if you're really into berry fresh fragrances. Not really a tea collector's fragrance or a tea lover's fragrance. Sorry, a tea collector, yes. It's just something weird to have, but it's not really a tea fragrance. Now, it comes a little synthetic and it stays that way, so no amount of letting it mature will really change that. It just comes harsh, it smells metallic. But overall, a great fragrance. Probably not safe blind buy. I would smell it first. Number 5, the Rosazi Hawass's OG and Ice. Let's start with OG. Bubblegum freshness, just sweet and fruity with a mossy mid, soapy and green dry down. Very edge to it. Reminds me of, it doesn't really remind me of anything, but if I had to say bubblegum in the woods while you're taking a bubble bath. It's blend by safe. It comes off a little bit synthetic at the beginning, and the dry down can be a little bit abrasive for some because it's very strong, fresh green. But otherwise, it's a mass appealing scent. Great for getting compliments. Women love this DNA. Then Rosazi Hawass Ice. Same DNA, except they added licorice at the beginning, so it comes off a little bit more oriental and a little bit more depth because they also added amber in the dry down. So that dry down is much sweeter. Same thing, taking a bubble bath in the woods, but the reason you're taking a bubble bath is because you're covered in maple syrup. There's just a thickness to that sweetness and a darkness to it. Again, women love this DNA. I think dudes love this DNA more.
I appreciate you.
But easy to like, blind buy safe, mass appealing. A little synthetic in the opening too. Again, another one you don't need both, but they're similar enough where I put them on here. Afnan's 9 PM Rebel and Afnan's Collector Supremacy Edition. Pineapple, moss, and then the dry down is a little bit different. This one reminds me if you went camping and you took Jolly Ranchers and cotton candy with you. The sweetness has a very candy-like bright feeling to it. And that dry down reflects that. It still has moss in it as well. And then Collector's Edition is like you went camping and you brought smoked pineapples with brown sugar on top. Again, it's a play on that amber. It gives it this depth, this richness to it. It still has the moss in the mid, and in the mid, these smell quite similar. Once they dry down, again, smells light and fresher, like hard candy. This one's deeper, like molasses or maple syrup. Great fragrances for all year round, but that being said, if you don't like sweet, you will not like these for summer, okay? If you don't like sweet for summer, anyways. If you don't mind sweet for summer, great for all year round. Great fragrances. This one I really like. This one I thought was a little overrated, but it's growing on me. Blind buy safe. Yeah, if you like sweet. Number 3, Club de Nuit Intense Man. This is the EDT. Pineapple, moss, hints of leather and smokiness. Reminds me of grilling pineapple at Korean barbecue just because it's juicy, sweet, and you happen to be wearing assless chaps because when wearing this, everyone pays attention to you.
Oh my sweet Jesus. That's right.
It honestly checks off all the boxes. People do really notice this fragrance. It's going to get compliments. It's going to get you noticed. It's loud. It has a nice sillage and it lasts long. 8.5 hours easy. Blind buy safe. It's a little synthetic at the beginning, but if you haven't smelled Creed before, it's a pretty good introduction to that DNA. Even though I think personally it's created that DNA to be its own because the new Creed doesn't smell like that, so you could never reference it. Number 2, runner-up. Another one that we talk about, that Creed DNA. This one's closer to the new Creed DNA, kind of. Rosazi Hawass Black. Now, people are gonna mention pineapple, but honestly, it smells more woody moss, earthy patchouli, and then that pineapple is in the back seat. When you first get this, that pineapple is gonna be very loud. Give it 2 weeks to mature and it's way in the backseat. Reminds me of playing in the woods, like Bridge to Terabithia. Trees, smog that gives off this musky scent, smog that gives off this musky warm air, and wet soil. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm referencing there. The pineapple is buried somewhere, but eventually you dig it up. It comes and goes, but it's not the main star. The main star is this woody mossiness that's quite irritating in a good way, and this thick, musky, patchouli, wet earth smell. This is a great fragrance. Honestly, it reminds me of what niche should be. But again, everyone has a preference. You can like masculine niches, that's fine. It's just this one smells great. It smells like you're outside, and it's, if you like a green thumb, this is such a good fragrance. Blind Buy safe. Unless you're allergic to being outside, yeah, I think this would remind you of being outside. It smells nice, it's good, people will like it. That being said, younger women do not like the smell as much as older women. And then number 1, you already knew, is Iltafa Atlas. Does it smell like the ocean? No. Mega Mari does a better job of it because of the musk, but it smells like you're driving seaside. You can smell the salt, you can smell the ocean. And then this is hanging in front of your rear view mirror. This is the air freshener, little trees, watermelon one, because the cologne smell, that fake watermelon smell, that's what keeps this so fresh. Lasts insanely long, projects well too. So it's great for someone who likes that monstrous performance. The other thing is you have to like that scent DNA, mainly that sweet watermelon and salt. Blind Buy safe? No, most people don't like the OG. You can see it based on the scores. Oddly enough, people rank this one highly, but I think they're ranking it for beast mode performance because it should have similar scores to the OG. So either the OG is overhated or this one's propped up. All right, and if you stay long enough, I'll give you guys a bonus too. Only because this one's a little pricey for a dupe, and the one I'm about to recommend is even pricier for a dupe. Al Haramain's Portfolio Neroli Canvas. This smells so fucking good, I couldn't put it on the list. Or not put it on the list, sorry. Neroli, floral musk, and just a light, clean sensation. Just very airy. This smells like lavish soap at musk. Sorry, lavish soap at Lush. And then it dries down to this just airy, fresh, clean, hints of neroli, but it smells just like paper in the wind. I don't know. It's just very airy, very light. It smells amazing. It smells super elegant that way too. Just nothing forced down your neck. This is great for someone who likes to wear all white. Fragrance Flan loves Neroli Portofino. That's probably why. This one lasts longer than Neroli Portofino. Doesn't smell as lavished, I guess. There's a certain DNA to the original. But that being said, it smells incredible for a dupe. Is it a safe blind buy? It's a little pricey for a dupe. This costs as much as your typical designer, and it's less milliliters on discounters. So in terms of pricing, it falls under my list for high-end designers. So nothing like Tom Ford and LV, that's luxury. High-end, I consider stuff like JPG, which is their price is about more than $1.20 per milliliter. In this case, this is $1.26. JPG, for example, Le Parfum is about $1.21. So keep that in mind. It's more than JPG's price, but it is so good. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the list. Remember to like and share for more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.